Morgan from WORNG Electronics, how are you?
I'm quite well, how are you?
Yeah, good. I've had the pleasure of having a play with what we're going to look at, but off the back and real strength of, I'd say, the LR, MS LR mid-side module, we've got SoundStage.
Yeah, I wanted to make a mixer that was not like all the other mixers and kind of did all the hard work for you.
Yeah, but it's not just panning and level, that's part of it, but there's filtering in this as well. It's trying to create a 3D space.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's more about like giving you a bit of separation between your bass instruments and your mid-range and your treble, and because a lot of people, well, me a lot of the time, I'll make a sound that sounds awesome by itself, and then I put it in the mix and it's getting in the way of the kick drum, and it's like,
And they're all the typical, I guess, production kind of things that you would do if you were working with, say, a band on a soundstage anyway.
Yeah.
But that's not something that's necessarily easy to implement in your RO until now.
Yeah, it's got 20 analog filters in it, 6 VCAs, kind of crammed a lot of stuff in there. But,
let's take a listen and we'll kind of talk as we go.
These are all inputs to the soundstage, and when you patch in on the left-hand side, your signal is panned to the left, patch in on the right, it's panned to the right, and the 5 rows all run through high and low pass filters. And so if you think about your mix as things that you want it to be low sounds, low mid, high mid, and high, and then you just patch into there. So what we've got going at the moment is a bass sound, which I've kind of put into the low mids in the center, but I'll just patch it into the lows so you can kind of hear. So if you were doing a sub bass or a kick drum, you might patch it in down the bottom here, but I'll just patch around a little bit and you can hear the differences. And I've got a few other voices coming from the assimilator here, so I'll just kind of go through how I might do a mix. So I've got the kick drum, I want that panned to the center, down the bottom. I've got a snare, I want that kind of in the mids. Then I got some hats. More hats. A bit of percussion. And then I've got another synth sound here, which I might just patch in maybe over here. There's a bit of space.
Instantly here there's some nice separation, the elements feel like they've got room to breathe.
Yeah, and so both of these synth voices here, they're both fairly full range, so you know I could put that up there and get a bit more top end from it, but if we wanted to swap these two over and use this as the bass line just by patching it in there, pop this one up there, they're both full range signals, but when you patch them in here you can kind of put them in their own space so they're not getting in each other's way. And then we've got a depth control here, which it's basically, it sort of crossfades in between the filtered signals and unfiltered. So get a little bit more of a high and low shelf EQ sound out of it rather than fully filtered. So that's like with no filtering at all, and sort of a bit more messy, you know, stuff's getting in each other's way, and then yeah,
really cleans up very easily.
Yeah, and there's CV control over the depth, and also there's a output level control here, which has also got CV control over it, so you can use that for things like doing sidechain compression. You can use it as a VCA if you wanted Yeah, there's attenuators on both of the CV inputs as well. Because I'm using VCAs to do it, I thought, they should have CV control over it. It's modular.
But the idea of having, again, a bit like how you can have CVable stereo width with the mid-side module, having this kind of CVable depth to the mix and cleaning up and kind of getting a bit kind of more murky as there's no filtering. I think it's a really powerful tool for the system, and I imagine it's great for feedback as well.
Yeah. It's nice when you running a mix of drums through it, and then feeding the outputs back in through because the inputs are filtered. You get a kind of much more, I guess, kind of precise feedback. It's not just everything kind of
band,
crazy.
yeah.
And yeah, you can make stuff kind of like it's really dirty and it kind of rings a bit. And because it's stereo, you're getting that happening in stereo as well, which is cool.
Yeah. So how far off release is SoundStage? It's really close, if I remember right.
It'll be shipping in a couple of weeks. They're all built, and they just need to have panels put on them and put in boxes.
What kind of price?
It's going to be $350 US, and
however that equates around the world.
Yeah. So yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. Sounds great.
Cheers. Thank you.